Hi there and welcome back to Mommy Hates Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Ninja Foodi Jambalaya. You can make this in your Instant Pot too, and it can be made gluten-free. Just be sure to check all ingredients first. So the first thing we are going to need to do is to get all of our ingredients ready to go. So you will need 2 tablespoons of olive oil or grapeseed oil, 12 ounces of medium cooked shrimp. I would do this peeled, but you can do tail on or tail off. It's up to you. 14 ounces of andouille sausage cut of 1/4 inch thick slices. 12 ounces of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, along with 1 cup of onion chopped, 2 stalks of celery chopped, 3 cloves of garlic, either minced or crushed, and 1 green bell pepper chopped, along with half a teaspoon of dried thyme, 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning divided, 1½ cups of long grain white rice, half a teaspoon of salt, 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes drained, 1 3/4 cups of chicken broth, 2 bay leaves, and then green onions and parsley if you prefer to garnish. So these will be all the ingredients that you'll need to make this. So let's get started with this recipe. The first thing you'll need to do is go ahead and set the Ninja Foodi to saute and add in the oil along with the sausage and just cook this for about 5 minutes on high just to get it nicely browned, and then we're just going to set this aside. So right now I'm just working on cooking that. While that's cooking, you can prepare your chicken if you want. It needs to be cut into small chunks. So I'm going to get that ready. Chicken thighs work the best for this. They just stay a lot more juicy than chicken breast and they don't dry out. So once I have this completely cooked, I'm going to set this aside. I usually just set it on a paper plate, and then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the chicken. So now I am going to add my chicken into the pot of the Ninja Foodi, and I'm just going to brown this as well and set this aside. So this takes about 5 minutes too. Doesn't have to get fully cooked because you are going to be pressure cooking in a little bit, but you're trying to just get all the sides nice and browned so that it is more crispy really. So we are going to get that done, and then once we get done with this, we will set the chicken aside. And if you do need to turn down the heat at any point, feel free to do that. Usually whenever I'm putting in the chicken, I do need to adjust the heat just a bit. So once that's done, you're going to add in all your veggies. This is the onions, celery, bell pepper, and garlic. And you're going to cook this on the saute function for about 2 to 3 minutes. Again, if you need to, go ahead and lower the heat just a bit to like a medium-high heat. Many times you'll need to do that for the vegetables. So I'm just going to let these cook up for a few minutes. And what you're going for here is just to soften them. So they're not going to be necessarily fully cooked, but you're softening them up. And you're going to cook them until those onions are nice and translucent, which really doesn't take that long. So that's why I say keep a close eye on it. It'll only take about 2 to 3 minutes. After that's done, you're going to add in your thyme, 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning and salt, and stir that well. Then you're going to add in the chicken broth and bay leaves. Once that is complete, you'll go ahead and you can turn off the Ninja Foodi at that point. You're going to be using the pressure cooker function here in just a minute. So I'm getting all of that ready, and I'm going to add in the chicken broth and the bay leaves, which will just give it a lot of extra flavor. Now remember too, as we move forward, you're going to be using uncooked rice. So make sure your rice is not cooked because it is going to cook in the pressure cooker setting. It's actually pretty amazing how quick that rice cooks in that pressure cooker. So I've got the thyme in here. I'm working on my Cajun seasoning. You can use any Cajun seasoning that you prefer. Mine was not very spicy at all, so it wasn't like a super spicy meal. The only thing that really was spicy was the sausage. I did do a Cajun style sausage. You can do any kind. But I just thought that would be a good addition to this recipe. So I'm getting these all mixed together. And as you can see, I still have it on the saute function. And now I'm going to pour in the chicken broth. And then I added my bay leaves, and now I'm adding it back in the sausage, chicken, tomatoes, and the rice. And I'm just going to stir that all up. So I've got this all in there, and I'm just stirring it all in. I haven't got my rice in yet, but I'm going to add that in just a second. So I've got the sausage, chicken, and tomatoes all in there. And then I'm going to add the rice in, and I try to make sure that the rice is covered. And you can rinse your rice first if you want to. So I try to make sure it's all covered under the liquid. That way I know it's going to get fully cooked in there. So as you can see here, I'm just stirring this in. I'm going to try and make sure I get all of it off the sides so that none gets left behind there. And then once that's done, you're going to go ahead and secure the pressure cooker lid onto your Ninja Foodi, or slide it if you have one of the newer ones with the single lid. And you're going to set the nozzle to seal, and then you're going to cook this on high pressure for 7 minutes. As soon as the timer goes off, quick release, moving that nozzle over to vent. And then you're going to dry the shrimp with a paper towel, so this can be done while that's cooking. And add 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. So I've dried the shrimp, I added the teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. Now after this is done cooking, I'm going to put the shrimp back in the pot of the Ninja Foodi, and then I'm going to secure the lid and set it to seal, but I'm not going to cook it. So you're not going to cook anything. You're just going to let it warm up in there for 10 minutes because everything in there is going to be really nice and warm, and it will warm up the shrimp. So you can stir the shrimp in and then just let it warm up for 10 minutes, and then it will be ready to serve. So now as you can see, it's all ready to serve. It's in the pot of the Ninja Foodi, or you can also do this in the Instant Pot as well. And that is how you make Ninja Foodi Jambalaya. This does make a lot. You could easily serve 8 people with this pot of Ninja Foodi Jambalaya, so you'll get plenty out of it. It's delicious, perfect to serve with a homemade roll. It's a great easy meal, and it's really ready in less than 30 minutes or so. It's super quick to make. You can find this recipe and more all over on mommyhatescooking.com. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you do not miss the next video. Thanks so much for tuning in today to learn how to make Ninja Foodi Jambalaya.